Hello, how are you today? This is Mr. Wayne once again. Welcome to Brand Institute of Forensics and Security. We begin today on another lesson under employability skills, where we shall be discussing safe work habits. I hope you are in good shape. I am in good shape too, even though my lighting is not okay. Let me put on my watch so that we can set the pace in the check the time properly and we start. We are going to be talking about safe work habits. And when we talk about safe work habits, it is a part of employability skills as a topic. And I mentioned earlier, these are the topics that we are going to cover until we finish this lesson. So, under safe work habits, we are going to be discussing how you should demonstrate critical work habits. Because at the workplace, we saw that it is your responsibility. When we spoke about occupational health and safety, we saw that it is your responsibility, number one, is to ensure your own personal safety and safety of others around you. You have to check that your acts and omissions actually are in line with safety requirements. So you see, when we come to employability skills, we are again still talking about safety, which again touches on occupational health and safety. So these topics are interrelated. Now, these involves training in skills, knowledge, and behaviors to, number one, manage stress. Number two, maintain punctuality. Number three, integration of personal objectives to organizational goals. Number four, setting work priorities. Number five, abstinence from drug abuse and alcohol. This is staying away from drugs and alcohol. And then number also 7, awareness of HIV and AIDS. People have forgotten about this in this age, but AIDS is still existing. And I can for sure tell you that, okay, we shall talk about it, but just pick that point. And then safety consciousness and handling emerging issues at place of work. These are some of the topics that we are going to discuss under demonstrating critical safe work habits. As we continue, we have to discuss a little bit about some of the definitions, and we say work priorities. This refers to what is more important and that need attention. Hence, result with first before others. You know how to prioritize already at your stage. And then safety. This involves all measures and practices taken to prevent potential harm or injury. Measures and practices taken to prevent potential harm or injury. And then we talk about safety consciousness. This is being aware or alert of the hazards. It is a potent factor in preventing accidents. Safety consciousness enable all organizational members to undertake operations in a way that the risk of accidents is reduced. Safety consciousness, that you know what is happening around you. You are aware of the hazards, and not only being aware, you bring them to the attention of those who are responsible to rectify these hazards so that they don't lead to accidents. So we are talking about the aspect of information flow. Who do you report to? You discover there is a hazard within your workplace. What is the chain of reporting? Who do you report to, and who manages this kind of situation? And then we talk about stress management. Stress in this case is supposed to be managed in accordance with workplace procedures. The International Labour Organization defines stress as the harmful physical and emotional imbalance between the perceived demands and resources, and abolition of individuals to cope with the demands. The harmful physical and emotional imbalances between perceived demands and resources, and abolition of individuals to cope with the demands. Note this one down and also do your own research, and you can define also stress in a different way, because there are so many scholars who deal with psychology, who deal with the sociology, who study the aspect of stress, and there are different definitions according to different authors, according to different articles, according to different professionals. So you need also to do your own research more, and at least have at least 4 to 5 definitions of stress. Stress is caused when demand of the job does not match with or exceed abilities, need, and resources available. A little tension can keep you on your toes. Too much can break down the system. So we say that without stress, then also your operational levels will not be at par. However, we say a little tension can keep you on your toes. Too much can break the system. Stress can break the system until you go into depression, until you go into terminal illness situations. Stress is something that is not very good. We have seen people who have developed stress and they developed progressively until they reach a stage of mental illness, until they are now suicidal, they want to take their own life. So stress is something that we have to keep in check, and there are ways that we can control stress. When we spoke about this in the first introduction topic, we said listening to your favorite music is one way of also reducing stress. Engaging in physical activities, engaging in exercise, interacting with other people are some of the ways that are required to reduce stress. So you have to be able to be in charge of your stress levels. You have to be able to control your stress levels. Otherwise, when it gets out of hand, it becomes a very big challenge. Especially where I am now, I am at the United States of America, and these issues are taken very serious here. Issues related to mental illness, issues related to stress, issues related to depression, issues related even to anxiety, issues related to this kind of psychological problems. These things are taken very seriously here. And I think even at our republic at home, we have to take these things seriously. Because, at home, there are so many people who are suffering under immense stress. There are people who are in depression. There are people who have mental illness, but nobody knows. They just walk. Every day they are walking in the villages, but nobody knows what these people are going through. And even themselves, they don't know that they are in this stage. I think that is one area that we as professionals, we need to focus on to see how we can help our people back at home get back on their feet. I know many people suffering. You have, a situation where they say a person is mad. They go mad, and even some of them, it is just partial. But because they don't have help, they don't have medication, then it becomes a very critical situation. So those are some of the things we have to think about as we move ahead. Stress management. This includes all the strategies and the processes which can be employed to eliminate or adapt to the stress, which will restore normal functioning in everyday activities. Some of the ways of stress management include setting priorities, using time management, which will ensure one deals with immediate priorities, hence eliminating stress. So you should be a person who knows how to strategize or how to set priorities, and then examining expectations. Let's not place our expectations very high, though it is good when we talk about dream big so you can achieve it, but we have to watch how we set our expectations. Setting realistic goals that are achievable will enable people understand that making mistakes offers an opportunity and presents time to learn. So we should always set goals that are realistic. We spoke about goals also in the introduction part. So it is very important. Set goals that are realistic, that you can achieve. On the other hand, dream big. You never know. Dreams come true. Also, avenues to manage change. Change is part of life, and hence adaptability is key. Support networks of friends and the relatives need to be developed. Develop good support networks of friends and relatives, and then living a healthy lifestyle. This involves eating a balanced meal, relaxing, prayer, yoga, exercise and mediation, and even reading exercise books, and even participating in presentations in public talk forums, these kind of living healthy forums where you interact with other people, you interact with the material, you interact with the information, you do exercise. This kind of healthy living is very beneficial when we talk about stress management. Then creating support programs in the workplace to help employees deal with work-related issues. This one is the responsibility of the employer to create workplace forums or workplace-related activities that will help employees relieve stress, because stress is really a major problem. Punctuality and time consciousness. We also talk about this, so I'll just mention it in briefly. Punctuality and time consciousness is demonstrated in line with workplace policy. Punctuality is the quality associated with being on time. It is a sign of professionalism in the workplace, specifically security people. Punctuality. Keep time. Don't be late for meetings. Don't be late for briefings. Don't be late to leave your colleagues. Always be on time. For example, not completing tasks on time can lead to delayed goal achievement, and being late for meetings can also waste other people's time. We also spoke about this earlier in the introduction part. And then time consciousness, I really don't need to repeat that. Be on time. When you are on time, it is very important. To manage time wisely, one needs to be awareness of time wasters. The person should identify duties that need to be done and take others to ensure that the tasks are completed on time. Social media, I can say, is one very important tool, or one very important modern age way of getting information and exchanging information and being updated. However, on the other hand, it is it is like a sword with two cutting sides. It is beneficial, and also again it takes a lot of our time. It also wastes a lot of our time. Sometimes you want to do something and you pick your phone, you go to Facebook, and you even forget what you wanted to do until 1 hour is over. So we have to be able to balance. We have to be able to understand the limit. When we see it is interfering with our normal operations, then we have to be very careful how we manage social media. Then leisure. Also here, I'll just mention a few words. Leisure time is important in a number of ways. Reduces stress and depression by providing time and chance to balance work and life. Improves the quality of life, such as when taking part in recreation time. Relieves boredom by engaging in other activities. Enhances communication and self-esteem of individuals who engage in leisure activities. Leisure is very beneficial also in stress management. However, be careful that you don't go overboard. For example, if you are a person who uses a little bit of alcohol, then be careful that you don't go into alcoholism. You don't become an alcoholic. If it is drugs, stay out of drugs completely. Something that I don't really encourage anyone to participate in, because I've seen the side effects of drugs. You walk in most cities all over the world, you'll see the side effects of drugs. So stay away from drugs. And there are so many people who are even in mental institutions because of drugs. So that one is a no-go zone. And then leisure time should be managed wisely through engaging in meaningful activities, which will lead to realization of the benefits listed above. It is hence important to take care of our free time. Let us take care of our free time. And then also, apart from that, we talk about personal objectives, integrating them into organizational objectives. Make sure that your objectives are in line with your company objectives. Each individual has got a purpose and a reason for existence, and so do organizations. Objectives act as a driving force in an organization. They set the direction of the organization and act as a motivating force. In an organization, every individual should work to achieve the objectives of the organization. Alignment of individuals to organizational goals direct efforts towards their realization. So your objectives should be in line with the company objectives. Okay? Sorry, I have to stretch a little bit. And this is also part of stress management. Yeah? Sorry for that. So set your objectives to be in line with organizational objectives. For example, if your organization is dealing with the security related matters, your organization, its purpose is objective is to ensure security of people in a particular locality, then your objectives should be in line with that. You are also setting goals that will develop you in the line of security so that your objectives are in line with the objectives of your organization. I hope that one is clear. And then goals, integrating goals. In the organization strategic plan, objectives show the intended direction of where the organization wants to follow. Personal objectives are framed for individuals at all levels of the organization and should be consistent with organizational goals. Often, personal objectives satisfy individual goals, such as completing tasks leading to payment. This can lead to conflict with organizational goals. For these reasons, the individual goals should be in harmony and not conflicting or supersede organizational goals, because you have to ensure that you are not again stepping on the objectives of the company or the goals of the company. For example, if your company deals with a conflict resolution, peace and conflict resolution, that is your organization, ensuring peace and conflict resolution in Africa, and you are participating in violent political extremism, that is, your goal is to advance political agendas that border on extremism, then your goals are not in alignment with your organizational goals. So make sure your goals are in line with the goals of the organization to be in a better position to grow your career in a positive way. Also, setting over company goals as reflecting in the strategies plan for all to strive to achieve in their daily roles and tasks, relentlessly communicating organizational objectives and vision, and this should be done often and clearly. Employees need to set their goals within the organizational framework. Hiring employees who fit the organizational culture such that they will strive to achieve their objective and at the same time attaining or enabling the organization to attain its goals and strategy. You have seen some top managers or some even middle level managers have not been successful during the induction or orientation or probation phase, and they end up losing the job because their goals are completely different from the goals of the organization. The management looks at you, the HR manager looks at you, your manager or your GM looks at you, and it realizes that whatever ideas you are putting across are completely different from the objectives of the organization. For example, if your organization is a profit-making organization and you are a person who is ingrained in corruption, you think that it is free for all, then you cannot survive. Definitely your goals, your mentality is different from the mentality of the organization, so it will be very difficult for you to make it through. And then let's talk about a little bit about resource utilization. This refers to making use of resources in the best way possible to achieve organizational goals and objectives. Resources can be costly and hence should be carefully handled and utilized for the benefit of the organization at large. Even your own individual resources, your own individual income, it is you don't just spend it anyhowly. You have to have plans on how to save and how to do it. Some of us are weak there that we cannot achieve any savings easily. It is a major task, but you have to try and put something aside also for your future and also for your career. Invest also in yourself. Then resource utilization measures how effective the available resources are used. Resources should be well utilized, as per wastage can hamper performance. Even human resources should be utilized well to ensure sustained productivity. Utilization of resources should be evaluated and tracked since they greatly impact the organization. Then we have already spoken about utilization of resources. There is nothing to repeat there. And then resource mobilization refers to the process of acquiring additional resources to achieve organizational goals. It entails having the right type of resources at the right time and cost, ensuring proper utilization of the same. Resource mobilization, especially in management, you will have to mobilize resources for your department. If you are a security manager, you are a security leader, then you have to mobilize resources from the organization towards your department. You need equipment, you need the right people, you need uniform, you need salaries. So you have to find ways of mobilizing resources. So when you sit in the budgetary meetings, yearly budgetary meetings, you have to present your agenda in a very positive way, and convince the top management that you need these resources because your department, you need operational costs, and also you need to invest in equipments and other items. So resource mobilization is getting money together to enable you operate effectively. And then also setting work priorities. We said work prioritization is the activity of arranging tasks in order for their urgency and importance relative to others. Urgent ones are established and completed first. Setting work priorities, all tasks that need to be done need prioritization. All tasks cannot be completed at the same time. Some things need to be done first before others. Steps to prioritize work. Collecting a list of all the tasks in the workplace. All activities that need to be done should be listed, which will then make it possible to accomplish them in order. Identifying urgent versus important tasks. The tasks are weighed in terms of urgency. There are those that cannot be postponed due to consequences of urgencies. This narrows them to the most urgent and important tasks, e.g., sending office mails cannot be postponed. So you have to learn how to prioritize your work. You have to learn how to arrange your schedules. And then also assessment of the value. Tasks or work priority can be set depending on the value to the organization. Things to consider may include assessing impact of task to the client or people involved. Another area that you may consider when you set tasks or you prioritizing is to allow for flexibility and adaptability. Priorities are not to be cast on stone and can change even when least expected, but still focus on the tasks at hand that should be involved to complete them. And then knowing when to cut. Not everything can be done in the list, and after prioritization, the remaining tasks should be cut from the list and focus be redirected to those tasks that can be completed for the day. We are also going to talk about staying away from drugs and substance. This one is a very big issue, As a security manager, as a security director, as a professional person, I don't encourage people to use drugs in any way. A drug is a substance that, when absorbed into the body, affects the psychological functions. Drug and substance abuse affect all people at all levels. Drug and substance abuse in the workplace can adversely affect the organization. When employees are under the influence of drugs, they will become less productive and organizational goals may never be realized. The employees also cause problems in the workplace such as tidiness, poor decision making, and more morale, among others. The employees and the workplace should be free from drug and substance abuse. Remember, our topic is practicing safe work habits. So when we talk about practicing safe work habits, you understand that using drugs while at the workplace or even outside the workplace, it creates unsafe environment. Not setting priorities creates unsafe environment. So when we talk about drugs, we are talking about drugs in the sense that if drugs are used at the workplace, then already an unsafe environment is created. And then also HIV and AIDS. I will talk a little bit about this one because HIV, the pandemic, continues to claim many lives since the first case was designed in Kenya more than 2 decades ago. The pandemic is a global crisis hindering development and social progress. In Kenya, the Ministry of State for Public Service put in place a national public sector workplace policy on HIV and AIDS, where every public organization is to develop their own policies. The aim is providing guidance to management of employees infected and affected by HIV/AIDS. It also advocates for awareness and prevention of further infection. It outlines employees' rights, responsibilities, and expected workplace behavior. HIV/AIDS is a great challenge in the workplace, and hence awareness should be created in accordance with the workplace policy on HIV/AIDS. Most organizations have forgotten about HIV and AIDS in this age post-COVID-19 pandemic. However, it is still very important for you to consider this one. Engage yourself in relations, but be very careful, because if you test positive for HIV/AIDS, then you know that your future is in jeopardy. Your life is at risk, and even your opportunities are curtailed. Even your growth will be a problem. And most companies, when you do interviews, they send you for medical tests, and one thing they test is HIV/AIDS. And if it is discovered that you are HIV positive, you will not be hired. They will not tell you, but you will just receive a regret, and you will not know why they did not hire you. So you have to be very, very careful in the relations that you get yourself into. We are human beings, and we have to relate with each other for the purposes of life and everything, but be very, very, very careful. And then developing healthy relationships. Healthy relationships are built and understanding each other's expectations and needs. There is need for open communication and mutual trust in the organization. Creating boundaries also enhance healthy relationships. It is an expression of what makes others comfortable or uncomfortable. Healthy relationships are important also, and also human, vital to both emotional and mental well-being and survival. So learn to create healthy relationships at the workplace. Healthy relationships also plays a very big important role in safety, in safe work habits. When you are working closely with engineering, when you are working closely with IT, then you are able to pass over the hazard that you have identified, that Mr. Chief Engineer, this hazard is likely to affect people in the organization, if you are in good working relationship. But if your relationship with other departments is not good, then you keep quiet with the information, and then you continue to create an unsafe environment, because the hazard still exists and there is nobody to take care of it. Also, safety consciousness, safety culture. This is a very important aspect. I also encourage you to read about safety culture. Just read about safety culture in the organization. Organizations should show their commitment in provision of a healthy and safe working environment, which is integrated into the daily working routines. Employees should be aware of their responsibility in precautions to prevent illness and injury. Employees should be aware. And then safety consciousness is the awareness of dangers and hazards. Employees need regular reminder on safety to prevent accidents. This enables them to take action and responsibility towards workplace. Injuries occur due to lack of safety consciousness, and therefore safety consciousness should be comprehensive in all meetings, strategic positions, and performing work in such a way that safety is assured and the chances of accidents are minimized. And then we also deal with the emerging issues dealt with in accordance with organizational policy to ensure the workplace is safe from injuries and accidents and hazards. It is important for the management to make sure that emerging issues are brought to the attention of those who are responsible and those who need to handle them. Emerging issues involved but not limited to terrorism, social media, national cohesion, and open offices. Open offices. This is an open plan work environment where employees work better together, often in the same room and besides each other. In this plan, the work environment becomes noisy and security is reduced and privacy is limited. Open offices have increased in number due to desire to increase interactions and collaborations among employees. So have an open office policy Open office policy means that there are no restrictions. If you want to walk into the office of the GM, you can simply go speak to the secretary, ask the secretary, please, I need an appointment with the GM. And the GM will create time to have a conversation with you. So open door policy, open office policies are very, very important in creating cohesion and also ensuring that the people are working closely together. In conclusion, we say employees should be able to manage stress, observe punctuality, integrate personal objectives into organizational goals, and utilize resources effectively. Set workplace priority, recognize leisure. Don't forget leisure. Stay away from drugs and abuse and substance abuse. Be aware of HIV and AIDS and be conscious of safety. This will be important in maintaining safety habits at the workplace. These few things that we have mentioned above are important in maintaining safe work habits. Managing stress, observing punctuality, integrating personal objectives into organizational goals, and utilizing resources effectively. Setting workplace priorities, recognizing leisure, staying away from drugs and substance abuse, and being aware of HIV and AIDS, and being conscious of safety. These things are very, very important. Remember also healthy relationships, working closely together with others in open communication forums, expressing yourselves freely to be able to point out the habits that exist at the workplace that could create dangerous situations. With those few remarks, I wish to stop there, and we will pick up again from that point and continue progressively with our training and employability skills. I hope this training is adding value to you as an individual. Think of the things we have spoken about, think of the things that I have passed across, and then continue to develop yourself in your career progressively. Thank you very much, and see you next time for the second lesson. Bye bye.